Okay, before we get into talking about AI in music and AI in general and Timbaland and just the people we look up to in music in general, right? Because Timbaland is one of my biggest influences in trying to make music, right? I'm going to keep it real though when I talk about this situation, and it's going to ruffle some feathers. I'm just warning you right now. So as I always do, trigger warning, right? But if we want things to change, we're going to have to stop believing in Santa Claus, and we're going to have to stop believing in the tooth fairy, and we're going to have to keep it real and take some responsibility, not only on how we take positions as consumers and citizens in the United States, but also the role we play in allowing corporations to pretty much control and dominate how we go about our daily lives and the programming we may fall victim to. Let's get into it. All right. So Timbaland, legendary music producer, hip hop, R&B, pop, etc. A person who almost single-handedly changed the sound of pop music in the late 90s, early 2000s. Responsible for the success of many careers, from Missy Elliott to Aaliyah to Genuine to Nelly Furtado, Justin Timberlake, so many others, Jay-Z partially, so many people, Beyonce. The list is very long. Timbaland is without a doubt a Hall of Fame legendary producer. He's come under fire for starting an AI, not only an AI record company, but also introducing the first signed AI artist, as he's working with another AI company. I'll do a little bit of backstory, but then we're gonna get into where all this is coming from. And I think something people are missing and don't want to admit to themselves about when our favorite artists make these kinds of moves. Now, here on an Instagram post here, he posted his logo. That's Timbo the King, is one of his nicknames. And in the post, he put "New era, new rules," right? And 2 months ago, he did an interview where he talked about not feeling artists or artists not putting their best foot forward or effort into music, and AI having more soul in music, which is comical if you're a real music head. And look, it was a sales pitch for what he's doing now, which is the AI artist thing, right? Here's the thing, and the way he's gone about it, I have to admit, is not the best. Okay, he's been trolling a little bit, and I'll get into that first. Let me just read this post. Timbaland is introducing his AI artist, Tata, with a debut single dropping soon. She was created as part of his new AI music company, Stage Zero. Ultimately, what Tim's here to do is to pioneer a new genre of music, A-pop, artificial pop. Co-founder, Rocky Moudlier, or whatever his name is. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna try to keep this based in music. And I know I haven't gotten over to the other channel yet. If you subscribe to it, I'm coming. I got a lot of stuff coming for that channel, and I'm gonna cover the colonization of entertainment in a separate video. I'm gonna keep this one kind of centered around music, so I'm not gonna get into the corporations too much. But Timbaland seems surprised at the backlash, which I think is fake. He knows he was gonna get backlash from doing this, and he made this whole troll video in AI, trolling the fans, which I think was a horrible idea. Let's play a little bit of that here.
AI is ruining music. Whatever. Go ahead and cry me a river, since Timbo Stamp is on that too.
Y'all crying about AI taking your spot, but your songs barely mix. Why would we train it on that?
Man, y'all scared of AI, but record every hook in Melodine.
Auto-tune is AI, baby. Y'all just didn't complain until it started writing better hooks than you. Timbo ain't the villain. He just not babysitting y'all no more. You want opportunity, but ain't got output.
You worried about AI stealing your sound? Bro, you ain't got one.
Who am I kidding? I ain't had no bars to begin with.
Yo, in today's news of artists are never satisfied, artists are never happy. This is why executives, producers, stuff of that nature don't work with artists. First of all, the Timbaland, who has super producer, who has, I've seen helping as many artists he can, decides he's going to play in the AI world, which, why the fuck wouldn't you? Like, let me tell you what an AI thing is. Let me tell you what an AI character is. Mickey Mouse is an AI character. Donald Duck is an AI character. Bugs Bunny is an AI character. you guys are looking at it wrong. He's gonna make a character that he can have sing songs and things of that nature, sell products. That's all these cartoonists and all these young kid TV shows are doing anyway. So why y'all mad at him? Plus, do you know how hard it is to push an artist? They gonna tell you, I want to do that. Jimmy Iovine famously told me one day, get you something that don't talk back. What is better than an AI artist that don't talk back? And we're still mad at him. Somebody just called me like, what you think about what Timbaland did? Ain't it vulturist?
Okay, so in the second part was a post Ray Daniels made, who's some kind of exec or manager in music as well. And shout out to him, but that post he made is a perfect example of what's wrong with not only the music industry, but corporate industry in general in America, but especially the entertainment industry. First things first, it's a predatory industry, as most are, right? Industries that aren't based around physical goods and services, most of the time are predatory. Why? Well, here are the leaders of the music industry, right? We have Jimmy Iovine, who Ray Daniels mentioned in his post, Clive Davis, Lucian Grange. All right, shout out to them. Shout out to Ray, shout out to everybody. I'm not trying to diss anybody here, but if we look at these gentlemen on this image, do they look interesting? No. Do they look talented? No, but they're very wealthy. Why are they very wealthy? Well, they capitalize in a capitalistic system on people who don't know as much or aren't in the positions that they are, right? So they put people in front of them like these people, right? We got Jay-Z, we got Diddy, we got T.I. They look cool, right? They're talented, okay? And they represent a certain thing, right? So they colonize, for lack of a better term, people into buying products with their talents, right? Stay with me, please. I'm going somewhere with this. So with Diddy, we know Diddy is crazy, right? With Jay-Z, Jay-Z wants to be one of the three men who are in the image there. So he has a lot of demands and he wants to be a owner, right? Or a boss on the level of a Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis, Lucian Grange, right? T.I., again, wants independence, right? So a lot of artists and these other people that these CEOs and the people who are uninteresting have to deal with, who are in charge of these corporations, they need the people who can actually get people's attention, like a Timbaland, right? So the whole system and structure is set up, if we paying attention, to put the people who have the interest and can garner the interest of the people and get them to buy products in a subservient position through perpetuity, which, if you don't know, means pretty much for forever, right? If we look at Timbaland calling the genre A-pop, all right, let's go to K-pop just for a second. K-pop bands. Okay, the minimum I've seen on a K-pop band is 4 in Blackpink, which is on the screen here. But most of them look like this. And they also look like this, right? They have like 9, 10 members in a K-pop band. Now, K-pop is a cultural appropriation of African-American music. All right, and I'm just gonna say it straight out. It's R&B, it's hip-hop, it's appropriation, and mostly it's Korean people who do K-pop, right? Now, Korean people don't know anything about K-pop, nor do they know anything about the American music industry structure. So most of the K-pop artists are, for lack of a better term, industry plants, but you know, it's not an industry plant because the whole industry is based on planting, for lack of a better term. It's like a industry farm, so to speak, and I just made that up. That's not a real term. But the reason that I know that K-pop is predatory is because they have too many members in the band. These people mostly don't write any records, okay? Because again, it's a different language, it's a different culture, the whole thing, right? So predatory. So where's all the money going? That these K-pop bands make a lot of money. They generate a lot of revenue. You have to ask where the revenue is going. Well, it's going to the American record companies and producers who farmed this whole industry overseas. Again, going back to the colonization word that I used earlier. And I know I'm running through this a little fast, but stay with me. And if you miss anything, just watch it again. Wink, wink. So with Timbaland, right? And with a lot of our legends in music, the reason that what should happen, right? With them giving so much to the entertainment industry and music in general, is that picture that I had of Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis, Lucian Grange should be a picture of, minus Diddy, should be a picture of Timbaland, Jay-Z, Swizz Beatz, Pharrell, right? They should move into those positions. Why don't they? Is it racism? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I know that's what people want to run to right away. But really what it is the reason somebody like Timbaland is seen as selling out, right? This is a money move. If you just go Google Timbaland lawsuits, right? And when you're a producer and when you're an entertainer, you, especially as a producer, you run into a lot of lawsuits, right? So you run into a lot of money trouble. Also, opulence in general in a capitalistic society keeps rich people on the same kind of scale. I have two verses that artists, Pusha T and Andre 3000 from Outkast, they explain kind of the problem in these two verses, right? So I'm gonna start with Pusha T's verse in Infrared, right? Or part of it anyway. Now, this is from Infrared, which was a Lil Wayne diss, or seen as a Lil Wayne diss, but it was really just a message more than it was a diss. And this part of the verse is really Pusha T was trying to say something and teach us something, as well as teach Wayne something about just the position in general of artists in the industry. Okay, and he's talking about when he says salute Ross, because his message was pure, he's talking about Rick Ross talking about Lil Wayne and him kind of being in a bad contract with Baby, who's supposed to be looking out for him, right? So salute Ross because the message was pure. He see what I see when you see Wayne on tour. Flash without the fire, another multi-platinum rapper trapped and can't retire. Ninjas get exposed, I see the cracks, and I'm the liar, right? This line right here explains Timbaland's position probably right now perfectly. Why? Because he can't ascend in music, so he has to pivot and kind of be put in another position to be used again, right? With the AI thing. He has to train AI in order to stay afloat. Because if I just go here, right? He's selling $5.5 million condos and apartments. All right, when your property and things like that, when your assets cost that kind of money, you have to keep the millions coming in every year. All right, when your sound gets old or people just get tired of you and you haven't ascended to an ownership position in music, they have to find a way to keep making money. You know, those lawsuits that they went through, him and Swiss Beats had a issue with getting paid when they sold off the Versus concerts and competitions that they were having, right? They were getting paid from a tech company about that. Now let's go to Andre 3000's verse from Elevators. And everybody knows this verse because people make fun of the verse because they say they don't understand what he's saying, or the verse didn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense, right? It's the last verse in Elevators. I got stopped in the mall the other day, heard a call from the other way where I just came from. So nigga was saying something, talking about, hey man, you remember me from school? No, not really. But he kept smiling like a clown, facial expression looking silly, right? And then this part is what's important. And he kept asking me what kind of car y'all drive. I know you paid. I know y'all got buku hoes from all them songs that y'all done made. And I replied that I had been going through the same thing that he had. True, I got more fans than the average man, but not enough loot to last me to the end of the week. I live by the beat like you live check to check. If it don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck. The problem is we as fans on the outside looking in, as adults, we're not talking about teenage fans and younger fans who don't know any better. Those of us who know better at this point still don't call out artists for the fakery and the nonsense. And some of us just don't know, don't understand finance, don't understand money for real like that. You know what I'm saying? And Andre is breaking it down perfectly in this first. Listen, I'm living check to check because the lifestyle of being an entertainer, right? They just can't walk around or just go get a job because they're famous, right? It would cause a lot of stress and madness in their life if they were just walking around on the street at the top of their fame. Okay, there's a lot that comes with it. Again, they sign up for it. I'm not making excuses for them. But the reality is, because the consumer doesn't really care, and because the artist and the worker and everybody involved doesn't really care about the structure being predatory and the structure being unfair, and nobody's willing to take a stand and do anything about it, these things are going to continue to happen, okay? Timbaland does not have as much money as you think he has. Jay-Z does not have as much money as you think he has. Kanye did not have as much money as we thought he had. He went from billions to 300 million in a day. Okay? So That's a lot of so-called money, but it's net worth, it's value, right? Value is a fictitious term, all right? Projections, which is what they tell you when they tell you how much somebody's worth and they tell you this is a billionaire, right? It's a projection. It's not really based on anything. If you crunch the numbers, can you get to the billions that they say? Yes. Is it realistic though? More than likely it's not. And this is what we have to understand, right? Now, if the money was spread out like it was supposed to be, and people who basically do nothing, and shout out to the artists who big up Clive Davis and big up Jimmy Iovine. This is why they take people from meager beginnings and people from the hood and people who don't have education about anything. This is why they take those people and put them in prominent positions. Because anybody looking out for them, when they come from backgrounds where nobody was looking out for them, means a lot to them. So they will be less of a problem than somebody who is educated and who knows what respect is and who knows what real love is and who knows how to look out for not only themselves, but their communities and their families, etc. And not looking for somebody else and somebody else's to do it for them. It's the structure. Okay, artists have managers, A&Rs, all these handlers. Because, and what that does is it keeps them dumb. And that is the structure of the music industry. If you listen to my last video when I talked about I don't like the structure of the music industry, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about in that when we were talking about Lil Wayne. Because that verse that Pusha T had, that part of that verse, is what we see manifesting right now with Lil Wayne. Shout out to whoever put that in my comments in that video. The truth of the matter is they are going to continue to find ways to take people out of the equation. This is what universal basic income is about and all this. And I'm gonna keep it in music. I'm not gonna get too far. But this is what all those ideas are about, right? Is to put people under control so that people who don't have talent and influence can benefit and stay in the position that they're in. And creating AI is an easier thing. And this is something that they've been working on. You know what I'm saying? If you look at just what I call AI is, it's video game technology, right? They just have released it to the public. If we look at, this is a game, fighting game I used to like to play called Tekken, right? If we look at the evolution from the characters, the same character, Paul Phoenix, from I think the first Tekken came out like 96, 97 till now, right? I said years ago, video games are going to replace movies somewhere down the line. And if you look at the way that they develop video games now and the popularity of Grand Theft Auto and things like that, and eventually they're gonna get to the point where they're not gonna need actors. That's what AI technology is developing, okay? My man, he mentioned auto-tune. And I see people saying auto-tune is not AI. Auto-tune is exactly what AI is based on. That's what it's based on. Auto-tune is a voice modeling technology. What do you think they were doing when they were recording your voice? And the auto-tune was shifting the pitches in it. It's learning how the vocal tones work, how the waves work. So what is it doing in essence? It's recreating a voice. You can't sing on key. It's making you sing on key. Eventually, the source material is not going to be needed. It's going to be able to calculate the waves on its own. And now it can. And look, I use AI, okay? It is a tool that can be used, but it's about us not allowing it to become a structure that can devalue people's contributions and put them under control, which is all that colonization is about. So yes, we can be upset with Timbaland, but we should be more upset with the system that Timbaland is forced to have to kowtow to and be a part of. And yes, he's gonna make excuses and all those things. Nobody said he was Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or somebody, or Barack Obama, or somebody who's intelligent enough to maneuver his way through this, right? This is the best avenue he probably can take for his situation. And again, I'm not defending it because it's a garbage sellout move. And he should be, whatever artist, whoever he really, don't listen to the music. I don't care how good it is. And that's where we as the consumer have to start to take more of an active role, because this affects everybody in almost every industry in a capitalistic system. In this system, anyway. There is a version of a capitalistic system that can probably work. We just haven't seen it yet. It can be developed maybe, it'll be called something else, right? But as the consumer, we have to hold artists accountable when they make moves like this. And we also have to make it important for the artists to make sure, don't stun on me. Are you really getting your money? And if not, what do we have to do? Who do we have to boycott? How do we have to mobilize? Like people mobilized behind Kendrick last year, right? We have to continue that to make sure everybody gets their money, to make sure the costs stay reasonable. And if the cost goes up, it's really because it's supporting more and more families who are contributing to these artists and these entertainers that we enjoy, and that the money's not just going to some untalented, possibly abusive person, right? That I'm not interested in fattening their pockets because they don't really provide any real value when you get right down to it. They just have a position. Shout out to 45, right? This is what we have to do. It takes effort on everybody's part. We all can help in this so that this thing stops happening. Artists, quit being thirsty. Go get some education. If you're talented in music, the last thing you should be doing is going to school for more music. Okay, you can learn way more music in the studio with actual artists and musicians. All right, shout out to the musicians out there. James Fauntleroy and them, I know they're starting a school. Shout out to them, those who are starting schools to not only teach the art of music, but also teach the business side as well. All right, you have to learn business, okay? Or take the LeBron James approach. You and your friends and the people when you're young, that you're growing up with, that you can really trust, or your family members that you can really trust, y'all, you create a team. This person goes to learn this part of the business. This person goes to learn that part of the business. LeBron James, they killed that. Him, Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, etc. That whole team, right? We have to take it serious like this because you are born into a predatory system. That's just the way it is. But things can be changed if we move to change them. That's just how that's got to go. Grown man bars is something you got to deal with. Shout out to T-Rex and all the battle rappers, Dot Mob. You know, we got to be real about our favorite people's positions in the music industry and quit buying into the fantasy that they're really running something, because they're really not, right? They're running around in a maze somebody else built for them, which is also why they may go crazy every now and then. Shout out to you know who. But anyway, hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet, man. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Share this video. Tell a friend, hit that notification bell. Thank y'all for watching as always. Let me know what you think about all I said in the comments. I know this was a little bit of a longer video for me, but thank y'all for watching as always, and we out.